Okay. So, I think I mentioned this last class or the class before. For proposals in particular, it can be a good idea, very good idea to use visuals. When I say pictures in a document, pictures to me, pictures to most editors, content creators, pictures is like a word, a place marker word for any visual, potentially. Like, could be like a picture, like a photograph, could be a diagram, could be a table. You know, if you want to be fancy, you call it a visual element. Or if you just want to talk every day, you just say, well, that's a picture. I mean, it's not words, so it's a picture. So when I say picture, I could be talking about a literal, what you think of as a photograph kind of picture. Or I could be talking about a table. I could be talking about a diagram. I could be talking about a chart. You know, to me, just off the top of my head, I tend to refer to all those things as pictures. Okay. So a couple things about pictures. First of all, they're worth 1,000 words, potentially, which is one of the reasons why they can be very helpful for a proposal. If you want to express something in very few words, but you still want to convey a lot of information, think about doing it in tandem with a picture. Tables are a type of picture that can be especially useful for that, especially for things like price data. Second, everyone likes pictures. Do you like pictures in a document? Like, you have a choice between two textbooks. One has no pictures. The other is loaded with pictures. They're both the same length. Which one do you hope gets assigned for the course?
Pictures.
Pictures, yeah, hello. Everyone likes pictures. So why not use that fact? Because remember that your proposal is a sales pitch. You want to convince them to go with you. Well, it's going to be harder to do if you make them angry as they're literally reading your document, because where the hell are all the pictures? This is going to be really annoying to read, right? So, a couple good, really basic reasons to use pictures. And also, as we'll brainstorm today, visuals, pictures, can be really effective at responding to fears, which is, again, the whole point of a proposal. You want to respond to fears. Make them feel safe with your bid so that they will propose that you enter into a contractual relationship with them. So that's what this quick slideshow is about, a little bit of theory for using pictures effectively, and some layout advice. Okay, here's the thing. Pictures can be worth 1,000 words if they have a goal. Remember the beginning of the semester, maybe the first class, certainly the second class, I talked about my working dog analogy for reports in general. You know, the difference between reports, working dogs have a purpose, have a goal, they do something, versus show dogs, like English essays, they just kind of look pretty, right? And if you don't give your report, your working dog, a clear goal, then it won't accomplish anything, because it doesn't have a goal. It'll just sit there and wag its tail, wag her tail or his tail, and won't do anything. That's not good. You want to think of visuals, pictures that you use in your documents as little mini reports themselves, okay? The overall document, whether it's a proposal or an incident report or a progress report, whatever kind of report it is, the overall document is the dog, the big dog, the adult dog, the like all grown up and ready to go and do stuff dog. Think of the pictures as the puppies, okay? But you still want the puppies to accomplish something, because the pictures are kind of like puppies because everybody likes them, right? They make you want to read the document. It's kind of like puppies, right? Oh, look at all the puppies. I really want to read this. I'm really reading it. But they still need a goal. They need their own little individual goal. It's not the big, complex goal that the overall report has, but each one needs a little goal, a focus goal. They need a goal. So that's why you want to give every graphic, every picture, clear context and a clear title. And I'll talk about precisely what I mean about that in a minute. You want to give basically each picture a statement of purpose of its own. And for the formatting choices, like how are we going to lay out the page, what kind of margins are we going to use, are we going to have headers, are we going to have footers, what kind of font size are we going to use, what kind of spacing are we going to use, how are we going to make the paragraphs easy to spot, what kind of headings are we going to have, how are we going to format the headings, are we going to have all those decisions, all those layout, formatting, page design decisions you also want to make consciously. You want to make all those decisions so that they do something for the reader. At least save the reader time. So, pictures. Every graphic, every picture needs purpose. It's either going to convey information or it's going to convey a feeling and emotion. Or it'll do both. The best pictures do both. But a picture is either going to affect someone's emotions, it's going to make them feel a certain way, it's going to make them think a certain way, or it's going to literally convey like information. Here's information that in picture form is easier for you to skim, faster for you to skim than it otherwise would be if we just wrote it out. But again, the best do both. Here's an example of a picture that would both communicate information and also probably control someone's feelings and emotions too. Let's say that I'm bidding on a mowing job for like 100 miles of highway. And our company has gone out and looked at the highway, and we've seen that there's a whole bunch of obstacles. There's like bridges and overpasses and trees all over the place, and it's going to be a mess, right? So we know it's a big job, it's 100 miles of highway. So we know that one fear that they probably have, that the reviewer probably is going to have, is can they handle the job? Can they handle a job this big? And then second, probably a fear that the evaluator is going to have is, will they be able to deal with all of our obstacles and stuff? Is it going to look really crappy, or are they just going to skip spots? Because like, oh, there's a tree, so we'll just not mow that, you know? So I need a picture that responds to both of those fears. This would be a great picture for that, I think. Because first of all, pretty big mower, right? Industrial sized mower. I don't think a mom and pop mowing outfit is going to have like a 500 horsepower tractor, you know? And then second, this picture's a little dark, unfortunately, on this soon-to-die projector. But this is like this, there's got this boom attachment, hydraulic attachment, and the mower head is like way out here. So that like it can bow right next to it, or it can move out, or it can even like, the technical term for this would be it's an articulating hydraulic arm that can even go around trees. That's pretty specialized. Also, it's pretty freaking cool, right? It looks pretty awesome. So, and it looks advanced. It looks like, oh, these people must have like the latest, greatest stuff because it's got an articulating, whatever you call it, it just looks cool. So, put the picture in the proposal, it responds to those two fears. But here's the thing, I want to control the mind of whoever looks at that picture. I want to make certain as I can, that they're thinking exactly what I want them to think. Because you could also look at this picture and say, oh wow, that looks expensive. God, their bid's probably going to be way more expensive than that. Maybe they'll think that. I mean, that looks expensive. Maybe you're looking at that and you're thinking, that looks kind of slow. Because look, it's like, it's great big huge, but I don't know, that doesn't look like a very big mowing thing. Some people could look at that and think slow. Some people could look at that and think scary. I don't know, that looks pretty dangerous. Right? Some people could look at that and think, oh wow, they're going to shut down the whole road because it's in the road, right? I don't want them to be thinking slow. I don't want them to be thinking expensive. I don't want them to be thinking, oh, potentially scary, safety hazard. I want them to think big, industrial, positive, state-of-the-art, advanced, cool shit. So here's how I try to control that. Blah, 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 words in my proposal, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now I'm coming up in the picture. Last sentence before the picture, I give it what's called context. Here is a photo. I literally start the sentence with here's a photo. You're about to look at a photo. I say here is a photo. If this were a diagram, I'd say here's a diagram of. If this were a table, I'd say here's a table. That should say what it is. This is a photo. This is a picture. Here is a picture of the state-of-the-art industrial mowing equipment. State-of-the-art. Cool shit. Industrial. Big, can handle big jobs. I want them to think we can handle big jobs, so I use the word industrial. I want them to think cool shit, so I use the word state-of-the-art. That we use to maintain highway medians that have lots of tricky obstacles. See, and that brings it back to the reader. Oh yeah, that's right, we have lots of tricky obstacles. Which also makes it clear that we must have looked at your road, because we know, like you know, that your road has a lot of tricky obstacles. That's why we're showing you this. So one sentence, it puts these two thoughts in their head, state-of-the-art, industrial, in a positive way, and shows that we actually looked at the road. That's nice. That's context. You're controlling, if someone's reading top to bottom, reading this word for word, those words, that thought is in their head when they look at the picture. Not expensive, not slow. Instead, industrial size, state-of-the-art. Oh, okay. Then you show the picture. You don't leave it there. You give it a title. If you want to be formal, figure 4, or if you want it to be more informal, you just give it a title. Right? Our state-of-the-art industrial mowing equipment in action. I repeated what I want them to have in mind. State-of-the-art, industrial, can handle any job. I just, in title form, I just repeated the context. Then, blah, 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 on with the rest, okay? This is what I call an over-definition sandwich. Most technical writers would simply call it over-defining the graphic, over-defining the picture. The reason why it's called over-defining is because you've defined it twice. You've said in the sentence right before the person sees it, here's what I want you to think. And then in the title afterwards, you've said, here's what I want you to think, right? If someone is reading very carefully, then that's twice as much context as you need. Because if they're reading carefully, they're obviously going to read the sentence before it, or they're going to read the title carefully. But the thing is, almost everyone's going to be skimming. So you want to make it as impossible as you can for them to miss the context. So if someone is just glancing at the visuals, well, they'll probably glance at the title too, and they get the context. Or if someone is reading mainly just the text word for word, and kind of, because some people don't even, like in their mind's eye, they don't even really see titles. Well, then they'll still get it, because you over-define it. You put the context both places. Okay? And it also follows I don't know if you've ever heard this for presentation advice, public speaking advice, but the advice is that if you tell someone something 3 times, they'll then maybe remember it. But if you tell them something in a presentation only once, nope. If you tell them twice, maybe. But if you tell them something 3 times in a presentation, then it usually sticks, hopefully. Well, 1, 2, 3. So tell the reader what the picture is going to show them. Give the picture, give the visual, and then tell the reader again what the picture just showed them. It'll probably stick in their head. There you go. That's the theory of using graphics effectively in any workplace document, but especially in proposals where you want it to really have an impact. And you want to control people's feelings.